Hey YouTubers, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to do a quick video response to Lazerrus 300 subscriber contest. First and foremost, congratulations on the 300 subscribers. I'm sure there'll be a ton more to come in the future. And just wanted to kind of jump in on 3 really cool questions that he had. This is what's playing in the background, which I'm sure pretty much everyone here in the VC is familiar with at this point in time. It's definitely been kind of the buzz. Between this and Blake's sleeves is pretty much one thing that we definitely all have in common in terms of what we're talking about right now outside of just music in general. But this is Derek Higgins 3 from the man, the one and only, the king of the vinyl community. Really, really great stuff too. I mean, so far this song that's playing right now, which is Morning I Rise, is probably my favorite song on the album. I mean, just beautiful stuff. I don't know if he takes this as a compliment or not. I'm sure he would, but I got a kind of a Dire Straits feel when I first put this on and started listening to that first song, Morning I Rise. And the one thing I like about Dire Straits is when they get into kind of that, you know, smooth, mellow, almost Pink Floyd type tone, the music just makes you float. I mean, it just kind of takes you away to a good place, and Morning I Rise definitely does that. So D-Man, I cannot wait until you get this out on vinyl. I don't care how much I have to pay. I want to make sure I get a copy of the first edition that you press out, because I cannot afford to miss that. Great stuff, man. So let's get back to celebrating and congratulating Lazerrus on his 300 subscribers. Hope I remember the questions right. Question number 1 was to show one of your favorite albums that you discovered through the vinyl community. And I really try to be specific about that and not necessarily, I tried to avoid, well, I knew about the group, I just didn't know about this album until someone introduced me to it. I tried to find groups that I had no clue about from day one. And so I came up with, basically it was 4. You know, this is the vinyl community, so whenever you say pick one, we got to cheat. But one that I'd never heard of, Hot Chip, The Warning. Very cool 2 LP set, and I believe Derek was the one that introduced me to this album. Next was this band, which both these albums were shown again by Derek. Captain and Beyond, Dawn Explosions, and Sufficiently Breathless, and just kind of some really cool, I guess you can say classic rock type stuff. I mean, I got somewhat of a, it's probably not exactly on, but I kind of got like a Zeppelin type feel from them. But anyway, it's just kind of some really good, 2 really good albums that I picked up that I've never heard of that band before. But the one I probably ended up liking the most in terms of a band that I had never heard of was one that I picked up from our boy Dan up in Canada, which was this one right here, which is Wild Nothing's Gemini. Really, really great stuff. It definitely has kind of that alternative 80s feel to it, which is always something that, you know, sits really good with me. And again, this is an album that I had never heard of, and a group I had never heard of until Dan showed it in the video, and I totally fell in love with it. I mean, every single song on this album, maybe with the exception of one, which is the Witching Hour on side 2, is not a song that catches me that much, but every single song on this album is a great song. So that's probably the one I have to pick for the best album so far that the VC has introduced me to. Question number 2 was to name an album that you've seen in the VC that you want to get or just haven't had the opportunity to get yet. I'm sure if I went back and watched a bunch of videos, more would come to mind, but the overwhelming one that stood out in my mind was the Ronettes that Dan picked up somewhere not too long ago. Maybe it was like a month or 2 ago. He showed a video. I can't remember if it was a yard sale or something like that, but anyway, I know he picked it up. It was in absolutely great condition. He got it for really cheap, and you know, that's one that I definitely want, because I love those girls. You just don't stumble across it that often. You know, there's CD stuff all over the place and so forth, but so that's kind of the one I would pick, is that Ronettes album that Dan has. I'm even forgetting the name of the actual album. I don't know if it's self-titled, but I know it's the one with this white background, just kind of the three of them on front with, songs listed on the front and everything. But album I definitely like to have. But anyway, third question. Introduce an album that I think people should check out or know about that I haven't shown to the vinyl community already, which is a tough freaking question because I pretty much flashed most of the things I think in my collection. But the one that came to mind, actually two that came to mind I should say, and I might have shown this early on in my video making, which I'm sure I probably did, but anyway, I'm going to go with Frank Sinatra, Swinging Affair. Just good old traditional Frank here with Night and Day and a lot of other good tracks, but the song I like most on this album is I Won't Dance, a song which I kind of came across through the movie What Women Want. I don't know if you guys have seen that before, but there's a scene where he puts on a Frank Sinatra record, which is cool, and starts dancing around his apartment, and I don't know, I totally fell in love with that song through that movie, and that's actually one of the songs that really introduced me to listening to Frank Sinatra. So this was the first Frank Sinatra record I ever got. So that's one I would definitely say. Everyone's not necessarily a Frank kind of person, but one I would recommend. I'm just going to kind of do the same thing again with this other Frank Sinatra record. This is the best of Frank Sinatra. And I pulled this one out just because it has the song Chicago on it, which again is one of my favorite songs by him. I actually came to know that song and love that song through Sammy Davis Jr., who I remember seeing him on an episode of Sanford and Son, and he performed Chicago with Red Fox, and great tune. And I also discovered the Frank Sinatra version. So those are the ones I say I'm going to introduce the community to that maybe I hadn't shown somewhere in the past. But anyway, again, congratulations on the 300 subscribers. I'm still trying to put together some type of contest, and I think I've actually figured out what I'm going to do, because I was having trouble coming up with what would the prizes be and what questions would I ask, and I don't know, it's like really been a bit of a pain. But I think I come up with one, so I'm going to kind of do a late subscriber contest for myself as well. But enjoy, guys. Have a good Christmas if I don't communicate with any of you by then, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, take care.